Hi everyone, David here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back for another video, or welcome if it's your first time. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing okay. It's kind of cold, but yeah, that's December for you. Autumn seems to have come and gone really quickly, but it's still nice. Winter illuminations are starting. But anyway, I'm staying in today. I decided I would make a second video about anime. You might have a long memory. You might remember the Studio Ghibli kind of discography, filmography video I made about a year ago. I thought after that I watched all the movies for Studio Ghibli. I wanted to new kind of anime mission. I've been watching quite a lot of anime this year, which I didn't really do in the past. And I thought I'd set my sights on some of the big anime directors. My first stop was Hosoda Mamoru, who is a famous up-and-coming, possibly up-and-coming, maybe he's already up-and-came movie director, so he's got quite a decent back catalogue. I thought I'd take a look at some of those. So that's our topic today. I'm going to get straight into it. If you like this kind of stuff, then please like this video. Please like it anyway, I'm a nice person. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Are there any of these movies that you've seen or you want to see? What did you think? And what's the last one? Leave a comment. I did that one. Share this video. That would really help me a lot. So I hope you enjoy this. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'm doing you can see my PowerPoint presentation started already. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, let's go. Okay, so here we are. This is the man himself, Mamoru Hosoda. I don't know which way around I should say it in this English presentation. So anyway, he's our director of the week. Let's take a look through his early life story and get a bit of background. So he was born in Toyama in the 60s, and I guess that makes him in his late 50s now. Does that add up? I'm not sure. I can't do maths in my head quickly. So yeah, Toyama is a prefecture, on kind of rural prefecture, let's say, on the north coast of Japan. And he studied oil painting at Kanazawa College of Arts. So he was obviously interested in art from a young age. Also, he got his eye was tempted towards anime by actually a Ghibli movie. I've been trying not to mention Ghibli too much when I talk about the other directors, but here we are. It's quite hard to avoid, especially in his story. But he saw The Castle of Cagliostro, which is one of the pre-Ghibli movies by Miyazaki, and he got interested in that. He did actually try to apply for Studio Ghibli, try to get a job there, but he unfortunately was rejected. That wasn't the end of the story for that, but for the time being he got a job at Toei Studios, which is another huge studio based in Kyoto, I believe. There's a Toei theme park anyway over there. And that got him on the road to being an animator. So let's take a look at his first works. So let's take a look first. He started with some Digimon short movies. Digimon are not that popular in the UK, but I remember them coming out in the end of the 90s, about the same time as Pokemon was so huge. They've still got quite a following in Japan, but around the start of the series in the late 90s he produced some short films. There's three of them in total. I can't remember the names, I can't read them from here. One of them was kind of a prequel to the first season, and a few other ones after that for some special film fairs. They're not full-length movies, but they did get released alongside some other short movies to kind of make up a set. I think the first one was released alongside the first One Piece movie. More on One Piece in a moment. Actually, this is what caught the eye of Toshio Suzuki, who's one of the producers of Studio Ghibli, but okay, one step at a time. We're not there yet. He also produced at the end of was it 99? I think he was. He produced Gegege no Kitaro. That's another famous long-running animation series about ghouls and goblins and yokai, kind of Japanese spirits. That's another short 3D film which was produced for a special film fair. But like I said, the Digimon, I think the second movie actually, inspired Toshio Suzuki to offer Hosoda a job to actually direct Howl's Moving Castle. Unfortunately, that didn't quite come about in the end because kind of creative differences got in the way, and eventually he quit Ghibli, and that was the end of that. Howl's Moving Castle ended up being quite successful, being directed by Miyazaki himself, and definitely check that movie out. Of course, we like Ghibli over here. So what did he do next? He was still with Toei Studios, So he produced his first feature film. Actually, this is his only one for Toei, which was a One Piece movie, One Piece Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island, bit of a mouthful. This is actually the 6th One Piece movie, and so this was his debut feature. Yeah, it's got a bit of a reputation as being one of the dark One Piece movies. There's usually One Piece, if you've not seen it, it's a kind of pirate action animation. It's usually quite light-hearted, even though they have some quite serious themes in there sometimes. This one was really heavy on the themes of like death and grief and all sorts of things like that. So I watched this one quite recently. I've only ever seen one other One Piece movie, which was also this year, which was I think the latest one, One Piece Red. That's been quite successful because of its soundtrack. But I watched this one recently, and yeah, it was quite dark. Not quite I didn't know it was supposed to be a dark movie before I watched it, and yeah, it kind of surprised me. A bit of a downer, really. But it's only 90 minutes long, so definitely check it out if you are into One Piece. Don't skip it, but yeah, and it's kind of standalone too. You don't really need to know the back history of all the characters. And One Piece is kind of famous for quite a weighty ensemble cast, so that's kind of put me off. There's about 1,000 episodes of the anime already. Yeah, a bit serious, but yeah, there's some action in it. I wouldn't make that your entry into the One Piece universe, let's say that. So check it out if you're a completist. I'm going to try not to say check it out so much, because I realise I say that all the time. So from there, he actually left Toei Studios to join Madhouse. They're another famous anime studio. It's been running for about 50 years. They produce quite a lot of famous ones like Death Note and Hunter x Hunter, and one that I really like at the moment called Free Ren. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's on Netflix right now, so check it out. Oh, I said it again. He produced his second feature film, this time kind of his own original one. This was The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. This is the first one of his movies I ever saw, and it made a bit of an impact. He did team up with a writer who would be writing his screenplays for the next few movies, Okudera Satoko. So they seem to be quite a dream team at the start. This film is kind of a science fiction based film, but it's set in kind of present day high school. So a high school girl mysteriously receives the ability to jump through time. Literally, she has to have a really big run up, and she can jump and go back in time. She uses this for her own selfish ends to start with, but without any spoilers, things start to get a bit more complicated and more serious, and she has to make some big choices. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more about the story, but yeah, it's a good film. This is what kind of got me into being interested in Hosoda in the first place. It got quite a limited release because it wasn't. It's not his debut feature, but One Piece is a bit more of a dependable franchise. So this is his first launch by himself with the original work. But he got a really good word of mouth, and finally got a kind of wider release, and yeah, became a bit of a sleeper hit. And it also won the Japan Academy Prize for Animation of the Year. This is equivalent to the Oscars in America. This is the Japanese Academy. Obviously they have a more established animation category. The Oscars have only had theirs a relatively short time, and there's not so many animated films that get taken so seriously, so winning that in Japan, that's a big deal. So that was a really good success for him. I've started to add the box office gross there too, if you're interested, and also the Rotten Tomatoes score, which is a kind of accumulated, conglomerated score of audience reviews and critics reviews. So I think this is the critics score, so 84% is not too shabby. That's pretty good. So after that, he stayed with Madhouse. We got Summer Wars after that. I also saw this quite a while ago. I think I got this on DVD after I saw The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. So yeah, Summer Wars, his second feature, also written by Okudera, and also won the Academy Prize. That's 2 in a row. And got a bigger gross. This got a wider release, so it had a more chance to make some money. Not quite so critically acclaimed, but it did make it into the Japanese box office for the first time, the top 10. I like Summer Wars a lot. It's got a quite light story. It does get quite heavy in moments, but in a kind of organic way. It feels quite well paced, I think. It's got a lot of action, although it's mostly based around one giant Japanese family's ancestral home, let's say. Yeah, it's got a multitude of interesting characters. It's got some ups and downs, twists and turns, and a kind of interesting action-packed climax at the end as well. So I really like Summer Wars. It's based around a young high school boy who's really good at doing maths in his head, and he gets tangled up with this other girl at high school and has to pretend to be her boyfriend, and gets introduced to this family, and then all sorts of things happen from there, including rampant AI. I won't do too many spoilers, but that is a really good movie. Definitely, I would recommend Summer Wars. Almost said check it out, I didn't. Okay, after that he actually went solo. He went to establish his own studio, which is Studio Chizu. He's still got contact with Madhouse. They've done some collaborations. They've even done some collaborations with Ghibli as well. But this is his own studio. Their logo is the girl who leapt through time, doing a leap. That looks like Mario, but you know what I mean. And the first one from this studio was Wolf Children, which came out in 2012. Another big success, really. Again, Okudera writing the screenplay. Another Academy Prize for Animation of the Year. That's 3 in a row. That's pretty amazing. A big gross as well. They had a lot more backing this time, a lot more promotion. I remember this. Do I remember this coming out? No, I don't, because I wasn't in Japan at the time. I think I'm just making up memories. It's got the critical acclaim as well, 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and almost got to the top of the box office. So a huge success for Wolf Children. You could really tell the difference in the animation budget as well between this and the previous 2 films. So you can see the money was coming in. It looks a bit more expensive. There's a bit more CGI happening too, which kind of distinguishes itself from the Ghibli movies, which have mostly tried to avoid that in some cases. So Wolf Children, this was a bit more of a serious one, I think. It's got its light-hearted moments, but to be honest, I felt quite stressed out watching this film because, I don't know, I kind of had this feeling of something really bad was going to happen at any moment. I don't think it really did, but yeah, it was pretty heavy going at times. It deals with 2 children who have only a single mother because the father's not on the scene. But the father was a werewolf, or like a half wolf person. He could change. Not quite like a werewolf. I don't think the full moon has anything to do with it, but they do have to try and keep their profile low so they don't get exposed as half wolf, half child, not half children. So this is kind of the stress of the mother trying to keep it together and moving out to the country to keep them safe, and how can they balance their wolf side with their human side. So it's interesting. It follows on some of the themes. I'll talk about that later, the common themes that we see in Hosoda movies. Yeah, it stressed me out, but it was a good movie. So that's Wolf Children. Another 3 years later, we got The Boy and the Beast from 2015. This is another Studio Chizu one. This is the first one that Hosoda himself wrote the screenplay, so Okudera wasn't on the scene anymore. She's done a few screenplays after that, but I guess she's decided to, I don't know, retire or do other things. But luckily, they still won the Academy Prize for Animation of the Year, so that's, again, 4 in a row now, amazing streak. And another huge gross, good, well received, got the #1 in Japan as well. So big success for The Boy and the Beast. Excuse me. So the story of this, a boy has family trouble, really. He runs away from his mother's family, and his father's been kind of scared off the scene, and he finds himself finding a little doorway into another animal world, so kind of full of these humanoid animals, and he gets taken in, or forcefully is taken in. I don't know, it's a bit of a complicated relationship with the beast, which is this kind of bear-like guy in the middle, and they learn how to, he teaches him how to fight, and they learn from each other really how to get along with each other and how to adapt and adjust. It's got quite a nice cast of characters too, very fantastical, I guess. I think this was probably the best film for Ghibli fans to get into Hosoda's work. It's a kind of Ghibliest film in this catalogue, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, it's got a good cathartic ending as well, and yeah, enjoyed that a lot. So, Boy and the Beast, thumbs up from me. Okay, after that, yeah, I'm a bit dry today. We got Mirai, or in Japanese, Mirai no Mirai. So Mirai is future. Bit of a play on words because Mirai is the word for future, and Mirai is the daughter in this film. This was released in 2018, also written by Hosoda Mamoru, and this one actually got an Oscar nomination. This is his only film so far to have gotten that. It lost out to Enter the Spider-Verse, I think it was, the first Spider-Verse movie. So yeah, better luck next time. But he did manage to get some solace in winning the Academy Prize from the Japan Academy 5th time in a row, so that's an incredible achievement for Hosoda. This didn't do so well in terms of box office gross. It got about half as much as the previous two. Got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not to be sniffed at. Didn't quite match the second number one of box office. Had to settle for number 2. But this is another different kind of film for Hosoda. It's based around a family, especially a very young boy who's kind of kindergarten age, and him dealing with his new baby sister and how that's impacting his life and his relationship with his parents. He lives in a kind of fantastical house which is designed by his architect father, I think. I think they're both designers. But he gets these kind of visions of the future. So he meets his baby daughter, his baby sister in the future when she's at high school age. So he can interact with her, and he has a few flashbacks to the past relatives of the family too. So it's kind of an interesting kind of time jumping film where you can learn how to grow up a little bit and accept his family, how they are. Yeah, quite heartwarming. The kid's a little bit annoying. He's a bit bratty and shouty, but yeah, never mind. That's that age, I suppose. So that's Mirai no Mirai. We've only got one more film to get through now, which is Belle, or in Japanese, translated, it's The Dragon and the Freckled Princess. Belle is the kind of American title for it, but Belle is the name of the main character of a sense. This is his most recent release. Again, he wrote the screenplay. It was the 3rd biggest movie of 2021, so he's back on form. His biggest gross to date as well, which was, I think, buoyed up by a wider American release. That Oscar nomination for Mirai really helped expose him to the American crowd. So not only did he get the Oscar nomination for that film, this time around he made the top 10 and the box office too. He went to number 7, I think, and topped the Japanese box office, critical acclaim, biggest gross ever. So he's kind of turned his fortunes around, and he didn't win the Japan Academy Prize sadly this time, but I think 5 times is it's pretty good out of 7 films. This film I didn't get on so well with, despite everything. It's the one I had a bit of trouble with. It's loosely based on the story Beauty and the Beast, the original novel, and the animated Disney one. So a kind of shy girl crosses paths with this fierce dragon guy, and she has to try and open his heart and win his trust, and hopefully they can help each other. Although it's not exactly like that. This is all taking place in a kind of virtual world. There's a lot of virtual worlds in Hosoda movies, but it's a young schoolgirl in a kind of rural area who has had some trauma in her life, and she escapes to this VR world to kind of express herself a bit more. She can sing songs. She can kind of become a lot more popular than she would in her real life. But kind of finding out how your online persona and what's going on in real life intersect, or how they're completely different. That's kind of a key theme of the film. Maybe this film was a bit rushed for me. I like shorter films. Recently, I think films have gotten a bit too long, so 2 hours or less is great for me. But I think maybe they just needed a bit less stuff in this one. I think the characters were acting quite wildly, and I couldn't always understand their motivations. So I don't know, it's something that didn't quite work with me for this one. It's not a bad film, but well, what do I know? The critics liked it, the moviegoers liked it, so yeah, that's Belle. I wonder if there's another film coming soon, because since The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, he's released a film every 3 years like clockwork, not like Studio Ghibli, who are a bit irregular with their releases. So perhaps there might be another movie next year. I haven't heard any news yet, but watch the space. I'll do a review if there is one. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the themes of these films. If you watch a Hosoda movie, what are you likely to see? A big one is dual identities. I've talked about that with Belle. They have the VR world, like an alter ego online. Wolf children, they have to kind of take care of their wolf and their human sides. Summer Wars too, there's another massive online world you can go on, like a metaverse kind of thing. So yeah, dual identities is interesting. And The Boy and the Beast too, he has to kind of find a balance between his human life and his beast world life as well. So yeah, it's interesting. That seems to pop up quite a lot in Hosoda movies. Next one, absent parents. Unfortunately, I know it's a bit of a trope in Disney to have parents who've died, or like evil step parents. But that seems to be a bit of a trend in Hosoda movies too. I put Wolf Children there as the picture for that, because the father's absent in this film. Otherwise, we've got in other various films, we've got abusive parents, we've got parents who've died, parents who don't get along with their kids, and the kids run away. So yeah, The Boy and the Beast is like that. What else? I think Belle's a bit like that too. It's got some aspects of that, so it's kind of scattered around. Hopefully, I don't have a lot of information about Hosoda's life story, but hopefully he hasn't had too much trauma. I hope not. And also spiky protagonists. That's my best way of saying it. For example, the Girl Who Leapt Through Time, I don't find her particularly likeable. She's quite selfish and bratty. The kid from Belle as well, and the kid from Mirai is a little bit bratty too. They're not always the most likeable or like friendly, heroic characters. I think because I watch so much Ghibli, yeah, I've said it again, I've got kind of used to these endearing characters, but I don't know if that makes it more complex. It doesn't always. I'd rather have a complex character who doesn't quite fit into a trope than someone who's a bit one-dimensional, and also just kind of going over the line sometimes a little bit for me, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely different feeling, different flavour to those films. Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap this up with my favourites. I'm going to rank these 7 films in order, starting with One Piece. Not a bad film, but yeah, a little bit dark and not as fun as I expected from a One Piece film. Next is Belle. Like I said, I didn't really get on with the story so much. It didn't really resonate with me. Wolf Children, yeah, good film, but stressed me out. As I said, I was waiting for something really terrible to happen. It does get quite close a few times. The Boy and the Beast 4th, should I put that a bit higher up, perhaps? But yeah, nice, enjoyable fantasy romp. Mirai came in 3rd. Again, the little boy was a bit bratty, but ultimately quite a heartwarming, nice story about family, so that was good. Girl Who Leapt Through Time, number 2. I've probably got a bit of bias as one of the first films I've seen by Hosoda, but yeah, I like a bit of sci-fi, so that's great for me. Meaning that Summer Wars is the champion, so definitely recommend Summer Wars. Check that out if you, well, I don't want to recommend that as the first one, because if you like that, then it's the only way is down from there. But well, check out Belle, maybe. That might be a good place to start, because that's probably easier to see. If you had an American release, it might be on Amazon Prime or something like that. They're a bit slippery to see on streaming, so check it out where you can. But yeah, watch any of those films, make your own decisions, let me know in the comments what you think about it. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Like I said, please like this video. If you liked it, share it with your anime friends. Leave a comment, and also subscribe as well. That'll help me a lot. So thanks for watching, and take care and enjoy these films. Thank you. See you. Bye.